I'm going to expound on 2 commandments straight from God himself, but I'm going to say it in another way and see if maybe there's some agreement there. Number 1, it's never an animal's fault or a plant. It's never their fault, no matter what. It's never their fault, nothing. If they react a certain way, if they get sick, or if there's something diseased or wrong, or it's your fault. It's a human's fault. It's never their fault. Number 2, preserve Ellen Langer's experiment of conserving your elders' times and all their furniture and colors and clothes, because this goes with the 2 big commandments. Love the Lord thy God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And to me, that means exactly that. How that looks like is that you never put animals at fault, because they are almost like God himself. Number 2, honor thy father and their mother. Doesn't mean that you might not have jerk, narcissist parents, but preserve their elders, their generation's times, and you will live long. That's what it means. In Ellen Langer's experiment, they surrounded these old people with a bunch of stuff that reminded them, just like they were put back in time from 40 years ago, and they all got younger. It's what you're surrounded by. It's not by the blood that you drink or the stem cells that you push. You're just getting uglier and uglier. Surround yourself with stuff from your youth, and your hair will stop growing gray. Your body will go back to when you were 18 years old, but you have to do this properly. Anyway, that's honoring your father and mother, not to mention that in these cultures, you should live with your elders, and they should be the ones actually teaching your little toddler children, because they already have the patience. They're not going to snap at your kids like you might, because you're working hard. You don't have time. I hear people that are parents now, they sound like complete idiots. A guy just on the trail behind my house teaching his little toddler kids to sing 99 bottles of beer on the wall. And instead of saying, if one of those bottles should happen to fall, he was saying, take one down, pass it around. And he was singing this to his little kids. So we're doomed. We have kids raising kids. Preserve your elder culture before it's too late. Actually, it is too late. You're going to have to dig it back up again like a frickin' tomb grave digger. Because all these old people, and young people coming out of the woodwork, I don't know where they were in the 70s, but they look like a joke of elderly people. Even on Gilligan's Island, when they showed themselves all aging, they all looked all spry and giggling and having their second childhood again. But these old people now, they're loving this because all the young people are acting like senior citizens. I call them the young geezers. Because they're, don't stand there, move 6 feet apart, do that, do this, do that, stop. You know, that's almost like an old jerk's wet dream fantasy. Finally, have a look at Biderman's chart of coercion, and that'll give you some interesting things on behavior modification. Behavior modification is simple. It was taught to me by an Iranian Jewish guy who escaped. He was an asshole, but he said, this is how you do it. You beat the fuck out of somebody one day, and then the next day that same person is assigned to that prisoner, and they're the ones who dress your wounds, give you your soup, and ask how your bruises are. And then the next day they inflict those bruises back again. The same person asks you how you're doing, how are your wounds, because they inflicted them. And then they do it back and forth, and that's how you get brainwashed people. That's called behavior modification. Anyway, follow the first 2 commandments of God. Honor thy father and mother. Love like God with all your heart and soul. That means never blame an animal or plant for nothing. Catch yourself. Secondly, surround yourself with the elders and force them to start wearing their old clothes and listening to their old music and keeping their old furniture and keeping their old kitchens. Just clean it, maintain it. Look after it. You don't need anything new. suspect anything, any system that forces you to buy a new outfit. There's old quotes about that. Buy a book of quotes. Learn from everybody.